fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, you know, a person that you claim that you're cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. You know, I just know, you know, character take you a long way. And I just don't agree with the character, you know what I mean, actions that he took.
The problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money.
Terence Crawford explodes at Floyd Mayweather after the sparring footage leak, saying he doesn't appreciate certain actions Floyd has taken. Crawford makes it clear that he expected more respect from someone who claims to be cool with him. He expresses his disappointment and frustration at how private moments in training were made public, and stresses that this type of move should not have come from a fellow champion.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, you know, and how he was acting, being that, you know, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, you know, we was all cool at one point in time, and, you know, when the Errol Spence fight was getting mentioned and talked about and, you know, signed, you know, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, you know, a person that you claim that you're cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. You know, I just know, you know, character take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the character, you know what I mean, actions that he took.
Eddie Hearn's suggestion that Terence Crawford should retire shows the divide in boxing over his next move. Hearn believes Crawford's legacy is already cemented. He's conquered multiple weight classes, defeated elite opponents, and ended all debates about his greatness, so retiring now would protect that image forever, just like some legendary champions did. But Hearn also admits the lure of money is hard to resist, especially with Saudi investment and cross-promotional mega events offering record-breaking paydays. The temptation of multi-million-dollar fights may outweigh pure legacy, and as one of the sport's top promoters, Hearn understands this balance better than most.
Sorry? Should Crawford retire?
Do you know what? Someone said the other day, and it's very true, because I actually said it about Usyk. We've got a real tendency, haven't we, to kind of try and retire people off. Do you know what I mean? Like I said with Usyk, I think now he should retire. And everyone's like, why do you want him to retire? It's like, I just think it's a great way to go out. I actually also think that Crawford could move down and win a world title at 160. And that would make him, what, 6 division champ? 5, 35, 40, 47, 54, 6 division champion. But the problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money. So Shakur, he was obviously very close to him, seemed to say, so maybe that's it.
Floyd Schofield believes Terence Crawford should step away while he's on top. In his eyes, Crawford has already done everything needed to define greatness, becoming a pound-for-pound king, winning titles in multiple divisions and beating the best of his era. Schofield isn't questioning Crawford's skill or legacy, but warns that fighting on could bring unnecessary risks. If Crawford does return, he argues it should only be against rising stars like Virgil Ortiz or Frank Martin, reflecting a generational shift where younger fighters want to test if Crawford can still handle the new wave. Still, Schofield's words come with respect. He knows Crawford has nothing left to prove and feels retiring now would leave his record perfect, securing his legacy at its very peak.
So I feel like Crawford, you know, he could retire if he wants. I feel like if he does get another fight, I would love to see him in there with Virgil or Jerron. I feel like those are both great fights, but those are fights we just gotta see. We just gotta see those fights before. I feel like those are the only 2 fights I would entertain.
Not a rematch, maybe a rematch with Crawford and Canelo.
I feel like it wasn't close enough. It wasn't close enough.
Really?
If it was close, maybe, but it just was like, it wasn't close.
The debate over a fantasy fight between prime Floyd Mayweather and prime Terence Crawford still fuels heated conversations among boxing fans. Both are seen as masters of their era's. Floyd, with his defensive brilliance and ring IQ, that made him nearly untouchable, and Crawford with his adaptability and killer instinct that has broken down every opponent. But the reality is clear. Mayweather is well past his prime and no longer has the reflexes or stamina that once set him apart. A fight today would be more of a spectacle than a true test, which is why fans emphasize the different eras argument. The dream of seeing their primes collide will likely remain just that, a dream.
So yeah, everybody, so this is a good question that the ring put out. So Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather, a fantasy fight that will never happen? Now, this is a really good question. Who will win between these two? Me personally, if this was old Floyd Mayweather, well, I'm going to say pretty boy Floyd, I'm talking about like the younger version of Floyd Mayweather wins. You're talking probably prime Floyd Mayweather versus prime Terence Crawford. You could see Floyd Mayweather beating Terence Crawford, but you're talking about money Floyd versus Terence Crawford. I see Terence Crawford stopping him in the later rounds due to Floyd Mayweather's passive style and Philly shell. I believe he'll melt. Terence Crawford would just break him, I think. People forget what Manny Pacquiao was able to do on Floyd Mayweather, have success with him certain parts of the fight, and people just need to see, Floyd Mayweather's, I would say, fights, later down in the years. I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement and footwork. This is the thing. A lot of people were thinking, no, nobody beats Floyd. Or if you try to compare somebody else, no, this man will beat Floyd. Floyd would beat everybody. I don't think it's a case of Terence Crawford, everybody. I think Terence Crawford would have been the man to actually beat Floyd. Honestly, for what he did to Canelo Alvarez, he beat a 168 Canelo Alvarez. 168 Canelo Alvarez.
Analysts often remind fans that numbers and titles, while impressive, don't always define who would win in a head-to-head matchup. Floyd's 50-0 record and his ability to stay unbeaten across eras is something almost no one can match. Crawford, however, has become undisputed in multiple divisions, something Floyd never did. This makes the comparison tricky, since achievements from different eras can't be perfectly measured against each other. Floyd's legacy is built on global stars and massive pay-per-view events, while Crawford shines through dominant, decisive victories. Analysts argue that accomplishments on paper don't always reveal who the better fighter is. It ultimately comes down to context, style, and timing.
Floyd Mayweather versus Terence Crawford is the topic of this video, and someone posted this: number of world champion fighters beaten, Floyd with 23, Terence with only 11. But my response to this is, being more accomplished does not mean you're better than someone. By example, Canelo has 18 former world champions beaten, Terence has 11. So you could argue that Canelo's more accomplished. Meanwhile, Terence just whooped him over the course of 12 rounds over the weekend. We all saw it. Plus, more accomplished fighters lose to lesser accomplished fighters all the time, so that's a bad argument. Let's talk skill for skill. Terence Crawford has knockout power in both hands. He can switch stances. He's not a stationary target. He has good footwork. He knows how to counterpunch. He knows how to fight on the outside and on the inside. He can make it dirty. He knows how to box and he knows how to fight. There's a difference. Guys like Shakur Stevenson, for example, they know how to box. When it comes to actually getting down and dirty, the jury is still out on one Shakur Stevenson, just by example. Terence Crawford, I think, if you look at the names on Floyd's list here, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo, Marcos Maidana, Cotto, and the list goes on and on, I think Terence Crawford has a shot at beating all those guys. I don't think anybody on that list jumps off the page and goes, oh my God, I think he smokes Terence Crawford. You can't say that about anybody on any of these guys' lists and names here. So yeah, that's my take on this, man. Maybe the only guy is Gennady Golovkin. I could see Gennady Golovkin giving Terence a really hard fight, especially at that weight. But remember, Canelo lost to Gennady. Gennady shouldn't even be on this list. He's only on the list because the judges are in Canelo's back pocket. So, that's a whole nother argument. But yeah, that's my take on this, guys. Skill for skill, Terence Crawford might be one of the best of all time, and that's okay. It's okay to accept that, guys. It's fine. Let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. It doesn't matter, just join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you, you are all up.
Zab Judah's perspective carries weight because he has personally experienced Mayweather's skill and knows what it takes to perform at the highest level. By calling Crawford the king of this era, Judah highlights how each generation produces its own standout. He even reminded fans that Canelo Alvarez once hinted Crawford might be better than Floyd, a comment that sparked endless debate. For Judah, Crawford's dominance across multiple divisions shows his completeness as a fighter. Unlike many who struggle when moving up in weight, Crawford has carried his power, timing, and composure into every class. Judah's praise feels like a symbolic passing of the torch, acknowledging that while Floyd ruled his era, Crawford now wears the crown.
The punch can knock him out, you know what I'm saying? The size will be a factor. None of that was nothing.
How did you score it?
Huh?
How did you score the fight?
I think I gave Canelo about 3 rounds. About 3 rounds, yeah.
How did you score?
Score about, sound about right?
What's that?
Sound about right?
I had it closer, but there's loads of different scores.
I got 2 rounds.
You gave him 2 rounds?
Yeah, 2 rounds. Yeah, he ain't do anything. I gave him possibly 3 rounds. So, with that play space, we gave him 2 impossible.
Where did you put him in the all-time list? 5-weight world champion, 3-weight undisputed, Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford.
He's number 1 right now. He's number 1. This is his generation. This is his timeline. He is the king right now.
Just seen in the press conference, Canelo said that Crawford's better than Mayweather. What do you think?
He's not lying. He fought him. He should know. How can somebody tell somebody that fought both of these guys, that he know?
Yeah.
Anybody would know, Canelo would know.
What do you think's next for both?
I don't know.
You like to see a rematch?
Not very nice. Rematch always sound good. But in a rematch, it'd be the same thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Matter of fact, in a rematch, I'm predicting stoppage early. Yeah. I think so too. Yeah, I think so.
Stop.
My boy's a dog, trust me.
Push up. I was watching Neil Stevens.
Right.
Crawford stressed that Canelo's opinion carries more weight than most fans or analysts because he has faced both styles in the ring. Still, Crawford pointed out that the circumstances were very different. Floyd fought Canelo when he was young, raw, and still developing, while Crawford faced him as a seasoned champion at super middleweight. That timing, he argued, makes all the difference. For Crawford, defeating an experienced Canelo holds a different meaning than Mayweather's victory over a youthful version. By highlighting this, Crawford subtly defends his own achievement while still respecting the historical context of Mayweather's win.
He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. One where he felt like he was at the best, and another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, I don't know, I don't go off of that. Floyd is the best fighter, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always love watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but why do something when something else is working?
Easy answer.
Jeff Mayweather defends Floyd by reminding people that context matters when comparing careers. When Floyd fought Canelo, he was already past his physical prime, relying more on experience, reflexes, and timing than pure speed or explosiveness. Even with that decline, he completely shut down a dangerous young opponent, something Jeff says shouldn't be overlooked. In his view, comparing Floyd's version of Canelo to Crawford's is unfair because they faced him at very different stages of his career. Jeff's comments highlight how boxing history often gets rewritten without fully accounting for the circumstances surrounding each.
Well, also if we remember, Canelo that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other 2 judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience. And he took him, into deep waters. So
yeah, what was Canelo? What, 20 something? 20 what? 23, 25?
yeah, very, very young in the game, obviously.
Yeah, very young. He had more fights than Floyd when he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people. But
How you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
Your prime is in your 20s.
it's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, so, and that's why Canelo was saying what he's saying.
But, I mean,
To make himself look like he did something great.
Buddy McGirt's breakdown captured what makes Crawford so special. He noted how Crawford dictated every part of the fight, controlling pace, distance, and exchanges from start to finish. Unlike many of Canelo's past opponents who fell into his traps, Crawford never let him set the rhythm. McGirt compared this control to the way Floyd used to outthink opponents, but emphasized that Crawford added his own touch with aggression and killer instinct. For McGirt, this was more than just a win, it was a statement that Crawford deserves a place in any conversation about the greatest technical fighters in boxing history.
Yes.
Like, what fight were they watching?
Right.
I mean, it's. I don't know, man. I don't know what some of these guys be doing in this game, man. Some people, in situations like that, they should ask them, listen, just turn in your license, bro. Because there's no way in hell the fight was that close.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. It's just, it's not fair. It's not fair. You get a guy like Terence got here and dominate from beginning to end, and then you find out he needed the last 2 rounds to win. That's scary, man.
It is. And you see how you just mentioned scary. Now, a lot of people are saying, buddy, that type of beating, he's not going to want a rematch. But looking at those scorecards and knowing that, hey, you wasn't too far behind, even though, he did mention that, he's better than Mayweather. But, I mean, what's your thoughts? Do you feel like that was such a beating that Canelo wouldn't want a rematch?
No, I think that, in all honesty, personally, I think that Canelo's at that stage in his career right now, that it's a rematch he don't need. He don't need it. You know what I mean? What we saw that night, that's the stage Canelo's at right now. He's fought everybody, he's did everything. You know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He lost it to Terence fair and square, and he passed the torch. So, if you're gonna have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. You have nothing. He has nothing to prove. He fought Terence when nobody else would.
Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. Who wins this fight? I'm going with Terence Crawford, and I don't think that's unpopular or crazy to say. I think most people will agree with me. I understand Floyd Mayweather has a lot of fans out there, but the truth is, as great as Floyd Mayweather is, Terence Crawford is one of one. And I say that because who else has knockout power in both hands, is able to switch stances between orthodox and southpaw so seamlessly while having great footwork? It's not like Terence Crawford is some stationary target or a flat-footed fighter that's going to be chasing Floyd around. Terence Crawford knows how to cut the ring off. He has tremendous ring IQ. And not only is he a great boxer, but he's a great fighter. He'll be able to make it dirty. If he is on the inside with Floyd, that power will carry him far. And I just don't see how Floyd will be able to beat a Terence Crawford. I really don't see it. I understand Floyd's defense is incredible, but he is smaller than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford would have a significant reach advantage on Floyd Mayweather. I believe Terence Crawford would also be taller than Floyd Mayweather, as well as all the skillful and technical aspects of what I just laid out prior. So I don't understand how anybody could pick Floyd Mayweather to beat Terence Crawford. styles make fights, and I believe Terence has the style to beat one Floyd Mayweather. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. Join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all